Alrighty, I think we are live in Instagram land. Let's see if Facebook has caught up. Yes, Facebook just caught up. Hello everyone, welcome to Friday Eve.
Good evening.
Today has been a long day
Yes.
in your girl's life. So I thank my husband for always being a calming factor. He always talks about I bring him peace. He brings me peace too. So that goes both ways. Let me just make sure I share this on Facebook.
Well, a little disappointed I didn't get any snow, but that's a conversation for later.
Yes.
That's a
Yes,
conversation
ladies.
for later.
Marry a man who thinks of every side hustle on the planet. So if we can't be doing projects, we are going to be doing commercial snow removal.
All weather hustlers.
Yes, all weather hustlers. That powder is going to be a different kind of powder, not the powder that's going to lock us up. So welcome. Thank you so much for being here. I am Cheri Phax, and this is my husband, Tracey Phax. We are the Dating Phax. So we talk about all things dating, relationship. I met my husband online last year during COVID. So I tell that story because there are good men out there online. I met quite a few, married this one. Would not have met him probably any other way. So be online. That is definitely an option. The second is that we met in person on May 21st, 2021. So that means we dated almost 2 months virtually without touching each other. You do not have to give yourself up to date a man, a quality man. That's the second thing. Third thing is he asked me to marry him New Year's Eve of that same year. So 7 months later, men know what they want and they move quickly if you require them to. And third, we were married a year later on May 21st of 2021. May 22nd of 2021. So again, men know what they want and they will commit. And so just know that there are good men, provider men that will marry you in a year. So tonight the caption was marriage. You want marriage, but you're afraid to have the conversation.
Those conversations.
So often my clients tell me, well, I'm afraid to talk to him about marriage. And ultimately, you just have to know what you want. You have to be confident enough to have the conversation. So it was important to me to get married because I felt like as a successful executive person, I had reached my capacity. I was living a really amazing single life. But I knew I am created to want partnership. And companionship. That's just how we're created by nature. And B, I had amazing couples around me and I could see that support. Going home alone definitely is different than going home to someone who loves you, or going home to the wrong person is definitely different than going home to a person that loves you. And I thought I could do so much more with a partner than I could by myself. And I really just leaned into my natural sense of partnership. And that's why I wanted to get married. And so I got real intentional about that. I no longer was of the mindset of if it happens, it'll happen. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I definitely was not a big fan of I don't need a man. I've never had I don't need a man energy. In fact, when my girlfriends would say it, I'd be like, girl, I do. I do. I want a good one now. I don't need any man. And I don't want a man who's not the right man, but the right man I do want.
Absolutely.
And then I just knew that I had to work on certain aspects that I hadn't quite honed. I had done a lot of inner work, but I still probably had a little bit of that masculine energy, a little bit of that not leaning back, not sitting in my femininity as deeply as I could, not letting a man lead, still trying to control and dictate things. So I just had to complete some work that I had to do. But I did that, and obviously an amazing person came into my life. So baby, what led you to find me, do you believe?
Well,
and
well,
what shifted your mind around marriage?
Well, and as you know, I wasn't seeking marriage. I was definitely seeking a queen, and I tell people all the time, I definitely wasn't even looking for a partner. I was in search of a queen, and I didn't know that marriage involved that until I met this queen. And then once I met this queen, and like she said, men, when we find the right one, we know when it's the right one. So making that commitment when I found out that you wanted to be married and that you were dating to be married, and I knew I wanted her, I'm dating to be married. And that's when we became exclusive. So it didn't take long for me to realize that this was my person and this was my person who I was going to be with.
So you hear that, ladies? When he found out that I was dating for marriage, even though he wasn't looking for marriage at the time, he wanted me. So he then said, I want to be married too. So the lesson in that is, if marriage is what you want, communicate that to the person that you're dating.
And all the way you communicate it to.
Be confident in what you want. You have worked on yourself, hopefully. You have, and if you haven't, let's talk. You have done work around your core values, so you know what you desire. And you just have to communicate that desire to the person that you're marrying. So I think I've had this discussion here before, but I've definitely said it in my Tuesday dating tips about that marriage conversation. And it went a little bit like, hey, you know, I really want to be married. And because I have that desire to be married, because I think that I'm better served when I'm a wife. I have core values around security. So the marriage union brings me security, and that's where I thrive the best. So I am dating for marriage, and so I'm going to date men who are marriage minded. Now, if you're not interested in being married, that's okay, because obviously we're not desperate. That's okay. But I will prioritize the men who want to be married, and that's how I will be selecting, you know, my dates and prioritizing my dates. And so, to my knowledge, it wasn't off-putting.
And we'll make that choice. Men will make that choice. If men feel as though, oh no, if the only thing she wants to do is get married, and I don't want to be married, we will make that choice not to continue that relationship.
You exclude them.
Absolutely, which is good for both sides.
Absolutely, absolutely. So the other piece is just knowing what you want. So, do you want to be with a man who has children? Your answer may be no. For me, I didn't want to be with a man that had small children because I'm of a certain age where I didn't want to be with men that had small children. So I worked on making sure that I wasn't even attracting those men. At least try to. But being selective in that dating process and understanding what I wanted and trying not to compromise on that too much. And then also having a timeline. In my mind, I was like, I'm this age. If I meet a person, you know, in a similar stage of life, I don't believe that we have to date forever for us to know if we are a match. And historically, I had let men date me for a long time without any commitment. But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make a commitment to myself that I'm not going to just allow someone to string me along in a process. I'm gonna be really intentional. I'm gonna be really clear, and I'm gonna look for different milestones to show me whether or not this person is tracking towards marriage. So first of all, what is their conversation about? Second of all, is he even talking about me futuristically? Tracey did a lot of early on, really already including me in future plans and just talking futuristically about us. We have to make sure, is he talking about you futuristically? I talked to a client the other day who said she had been exclusive with her person for 2 years and hadn't met their family. Is he introducing you to people in his family and his life? Is he introducing you to important people in his life? If he is not, that would be a flag for me. Now, there's a way to communicate that where if it's just a yellow flag, that you can get movement, and it can go something like, hey, you know, I want marriage, and I think you know that. And one way that I feel comfortable in dating and understanding where the process is going is by meeting people that are important to you, meeting people in your life. So I would really love to meet your parents. That would make me feel that your words of telling me I'm the one, because they can tell you all day, you the one, girl, you about to be my wife, you wifey, you know, all that stuff, but that your words and your actions align. I'm not about talk to me. I'm about show me. You can tell me anything. I need you to show me. I'm in sales. A customer can tell me all day they're going to buy my product. Until I see a contract, they're just talking. So that's the same thing in a relationship. So that's a conversation you can have so that you're meeting their family and you're progressing on in the timeline that you have. In my mind, I had 6 months. I was going to date him exclusively for 6 months. He wasn't going to take me off the market forever to put me away until he got tired of me and then put me back out there.
Which happens.
It does happen.
Absolutely.
Does
Absolutely.
it? Yeah.
Absolutely.
And what is that about, babe? People just kind of want access to you?
People want access, and once again, you get in these relationships and you go a year, 18 months with no commitment, no direction. Nobody knows where they're going at. And that sometimes is a hard conversation for a man to have as well as a woman to have. Because men, we're just not even going to have it. If you don't bring it up, we're not going to bring it up. And that's where the problem lies at.
Yeah.
Somebody has to bring it up and have that conversation.
But everybody's nervous because you know what? You don't really know where the relationship is going. So to have the conversation may solidify that it may not be going in the direction that you wanted it to go in. So that's,
Yeah.
So for me, it was 6 months. Now, Tracey asked in 7, but I also knew that Christmas was coming up, my birthday was coming up, Valentine's Day was coming up. So I gave him some flexibility. So you don't have to be so rigid in that. So I had a 6-month-ish and I got it at 7 months. And then we were married in a year. And so for me, it worked within my timeline. But did you feel that I was pushing you in that direction, or did you were you inspired by the way in which we engaged?
I was inspired by the way we engaged, and our communication was very, very clear. And I think, once again, that was the whole piece of it. If I didn't want to be married, if I didn't want to be in a long, committed relationship, and I liked her, I would have just told her. But if I knew if I told her, it wasn't going to end good. But the fact of the matter is that I knew exactly what I wanted from the beginning, and I was ready to follow that script to the T.
And he did. And so it was all action-based. So it wasn't really about the things that he was saying. It was about the actions that he was doing. Again, I was meeting family. He was professing me. He was speaking of me in future tense. When we build this house, when we do this thing, when we, he just was a continual like that. And I think there was a time or two where he wanted me to live with him. And I said I wasn't going to live with another man who wasn't my husband. And he was like, I'm going to be your husband. He didn't have my ring yet, but he was very, very clear, and there were some actions that he did behind the scenes to make me very comfortable in knowing things that he, suggested himself, so that he would show that he was very invested in our relationship. And so, and
that's a good point too for men too, because as men, we can do things also. If that's not something that we want to commit to right now, we can do those things to make women feel comfortable, to make them know that, yes, that is on my radar also. It might not be going down right now, but the steps that the man takes to do that can show a lot.
So, anything else on this one?
No.
You think we good?
I think we're good, baby. Communication,
definitely.
You got to communicate. There's no reason being in an 18-month, 24-month relationship that it's not going where you want it to go.
Yes, so if you are challenged in feeling confident to have the kind of conversations that you need to have to move your relationship along, if you need the words, or if you need to trust yourself and to gain and build that intuition, then go reach out to me, www.justthephax.com. I definitely can help with dating and all that, but my secret sauce is in coaching. Definitely really helping people understand their value, their worth, get confidence, get all the words you need, to attract the right love and the right people, but then also to have communication around some of your needs. We're going to look at Instagram and Facebook really quick to see if there's any questions that we can answer. Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. Good evening.
Deborah Odom said, don't take all day to recognize sunshine.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't take all day to recognize sunshine. That's one thing, California girls. We got some sunshine.
Yeah,
you may want to move east.
We know when it's cloudy too.
Oh, everyone is welcome. I thought I saw a question here. Okay. Awesomeness. I don't think. Okay, Slick 42, you said, I don't think a person should have to ask to meet people. If they want to be with you, they should want to show you people in their life. I think that there's some value in that, and I think that there's some truth in that. However, you always have to remember, everyone isn't as well equipped to do the thing that you think should be natural. And if the person hasn't given you any reason to doubt them or not trust them, then it's okay to have a conversation. Hey, this is what I need. This is how I'm feeling. And then when you have that conversation, you see what their actions will be after that. But I always say, have the conversation first before assuming, They may think you don't want to meet their family, or their family may not be important to them. So meeting their family may not be a big deal for them. So you have to allow people to have some differences and then effectively communicate what your needs are. So thank you for that. And that's how you know he had proposed and a plan that he wanted to be with you. Never had to ask him to meet his family. Okay. All right. What will the information be about the webinar? On the 26th of February is the date, and we will start posting things on our website. So go to www.justthephax.com, register to get notified of information, and then you will be on the list to get the webinar information. But we will open that registration really, really soon. Dating sucks in Georgia. Oh, butterfly. If you think it sucks, it will. So you got to think it does not suck. You have to be like, men are abundant and they're everywhere. And I will attract the person who is for me. That's all about your mindset. Yeah. So if you say it will do that. Right. And
moving from Georgia ain't gonna help.
That is true. That is very true. But if you want to come to Jersey, we're here. I think that's it. We appreciate you appreciating our segments. KSLSEVN. We appreciate you. So we hope this has been beneficial. We thank you for always being supportive. I am Cheri. This is Tracey, and we will see you. We may not see you next week, actually, because my birthday is next week, and I'm not sure what's going on, but I don't know if we're going to be here. If we're not, it will be because of my birthday, and we'll see you after that, because Aquarius is rule. And good night.
Good night.
Have a good one.
Good night. Good night.